Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be spending some time on the Pacific Power 3450 AFX programmable power supply. We'll start by going over a little bit about the source, then we'll move to the connections in the front and the back, and then finally we'll walk through some of the testing capabilities using the software. We're looking at the Pacific Power 3450 AFX-2 model, which is three 3150 AFX units parallel together and rack mounted, typically with only the top unit being a master unit. We have our system configured today with two control units with displays in the rack for today's video, one being on the top and one on the bottom. This system is configured as a -2, just indicating that it has a 208 to 230 volt three-phase AC input. This system can provide up to 45 kVA with a maximum of 576 volts AC and 425 volts DC. We have the DL160 and IEC test sequences installed in our system now. However, other test sequences can be added if needed. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the datasheet and some of the AFX models. Here's page 9 of the datasheet, which shows some of the standard AFX series models and some of their capabilities. Today, we're looking at the 3450 AFX, which provides up to 45 kV and an 18U cabinet. This chart also provides the maximum AC and DC voltage, as well as the maximum current for both single and three-phase. As you can see on the page, there is units as low as 6 kVA and all the way up to 90 kVA or above. To reach the higher power levels, typically 15 kVA units are parallel together and rack mounted. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the front of the system. Here's the front of the 3450 AFX, and as we mentioned earlier, we have two master units with controllers, and then between them we have our auxiliary unit. This could be used for providing two different AC outputs. However, for today's video we have them all parallel together, providing 45 kVA. There's a few different ways that this system can be configured, and if you need multiple outputs, please let us know in advance. The master units with the controllers will look exactly like the 3150 AFX, which you can see on the top and the bottom. This system can be controlled via the display on the top unit. However, for today's video, we're going to take a look at the software. If you'd like additional information on the front panel, I'll go ahead and I'll put a link in the description below for a video we did on the 3150 AFX, which walks through that in more detail. To power up the system, we just need to turn on the switches on the front left side of each unit. When the system is powered up, the other units will default as auxiliary units, with the display units operating the same way as an auxiliary unit when paralleled in. There isn't too much as far as connections in the front, given everything is rack mounted. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the back of the system. Alright, here's the back of the test system. Looking at the top section, it's a screen that can be removed that allows access to the back of the units. Below that, we have a series of connections along the bottom. Starting on the left, we have a green connector, and then next to that, we have our power output. Working our way right, we have our voltage sense and our power input. Keep in mind, if you're running the power supply from us, it is configured for 200 volts three-phase AC input. Any other voltage will cause damage to the system. Let's go ahead now, let's get the source turned on and take a look at the software. Here's the PPSC Test Manager software, which we'll be looking at briefly. We did a more in-depth overview of the software and some of the capabilities with the video we did on the 360 AFX. If you need additional information, you can also reference that video. When you're renting the equipment from us, it will come with a laptop with all the necessary information already entered. So let's go ahead now and take a look at our PPSC Test Manager and go down to our PPSC Studio setup and let's hit connect. Alright, so now the software is getting started up, and that should be done shortly. Alright, so we have our software started up. If we take a look now at the bottom portion of our PPSC Studio window, we have the 3450 AFX-2AG indicated in the lower left corner. Let's go ahead now. Let's take a look at the top of our PPSC Studio menu. Starting on the left, we have the control button, PPSC meter, waveform editor, and output sequence browser buttons. In the middle, we have a clipboard with the checked box, which is our test manager. If we go ahead and we click the drop down in our test manager, you will see a variety of customizable and pre-programmed test routines. The next two buttons are for self-calibration and lockout mode. To the right of that, we have our execute settings. And then finally, all the way on the right, we have our power source output enable button. Below that, the menu is divided into a few series of boxes. Starting from the left, we have our frequency. Next to that, form, mode, and coupling. Finally, in the middle area, we have the different phases. You can see right now, phase A, B, and C, as well as the voltage, waveform, and degree. Let's go ahead now and let's modify some of the criteria quickly. Let's go ahead and let's change the frequency to 60 Hertz. And looking down now in the middle section, let's go ahead and let's change our voltage to 200 volts. We'll hit enter. Now let's go ahead and let's switch our waveform as well. Alright, just like that, we've completed the necessary adjustments. Now let's go ahead and let's enable our power supply output by clicking that lightning bolt in the upper right corner. Alright, excellent, and we're ready to begin testing. Alright, that should complete the video today on the Pacific Power 3450 AFX. We began the video by talking briefly about the unit, then we moved to the connections in the front and the back, and then finally we spent some time on the software. We hope this video has been useful, and please keep us in mind if you ever need to rent the Pacific Power 3450 AFX.